Mark chapter 5 covers the topic of legion. Mark chapter 5 describes the incident in which Jesus healed the man by casting out demons in great detail. Jesus visits the Gerasenes region and is immediately confronted by a demon-possessed man who lived among the tombs, cut himself with stones, and cannot be kept in captivity. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot. But he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills he would cry out and cut himself with stones. Mark chapter 5, verses 1 to 5. Another man with an unclean spirit approached Jesus once they arrived on the other side of the sea. Mark has already told us about Jesus' encounters with demoniacs, but this account is more personal. Mark describes how life was for this particular man. He first lived in the tombs. He was a complete social outcast. He didn't have any human companions. Rather, all of his human companions were dead. Second, he was out of control, though individuals tried to bind him up with bonds. Because of his demonically inspired strength, no one could subdue him. Third, he endured self-inflicted agony. He was awake at all hours, crying out and cutting himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Mark chapter 5, verses 6 to 8. The man's external torture was the result of internal turmoil. He wasn't just insane, he was under demonic control. The demon inhabiting this man, like previous demons Jesus dealt with, recognized Jesus for who he truly is, the Son of the Most High God. Mark chapter 1, verses 23 to 24. Just then, a man in their synagogue who was possessed by an impure spirit cried out, "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Furthermore, he acknowledged Jesus' power and authority. Despite the fact that the Son of God wanted the demon to leave, the demon begged, "Don't torture me." When Jesus asked the demon what its name was, the demon replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." A legion was the largest unit in the Roman army in common usage. A legion at the time had an average of 5,000 fighting men, though it could have thousands more or fewer. As a result, the term legion refers to any large group of beings, a multitude. When the demon in Mark chapter 5 said its name was Legion, it meant that the demoniac of the Gerasenes was possessed by a large number of unclean spirits. The Bible does not specify how many demons made up the legion within the man. When Jesus cast them out, they went into a herd of pigs that was nearby. Legion drove the pigs down a hill and into the sea where they all drowned. Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Mark chapter 5 verses 9 to 13. Because Jesus asked to know the name of the demon, we know that the demon who had been talking was actually just a representative. My name is Legion, because we are many. To put it another way, all of his demonic relatives, including his aunts, uncles, cousins, and other relatives, had moved in with him. They implored with Jesus to grant them permission to move into their new dwelling, which was a group of pigs. Therefore Jesus let the impure spirits to inhabit the impure animals, which immediately fled into the sea and drowned themselves there. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside, and the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. Mark chapter 5 verses 14 to 17. When people from the local town and the area around it heard about it, they came to see the man who had previously been possessed by a demon, now that he was in his right mind. No more living among the tombs, no more shackled hands and feet, no more bleeding from his own hands. But how did these people react to such a magnificent healing? They pleaded with Jesus to leave their area. Why? Mark claims that they reacted this way after learning about the man and the pigs, 2,000 pigs to be precise. All of that pork cost a lot of money. If Jesus kept doing things like this, he'd destroy the local economy. It's worth noting that their livelihood was more important to them than the release of a human from demonic oppression. They valued material possessions over spiritual ones. Because it served his purposes, Jesus had no reason not to accept the legion's proposal. First, it resulted in the freedom from the demons. Second, pigs were deemed unclean animals under Jewish law, making them a perfect symbol and safe haven for demons. Finally, accepting their bid had no effect on the demons' eternal fate on Judgment Day. More importantly, Jesus was not committing a sin by accepting the demon's offer. In contrast, Jesus' encounter with Satan in the wilderness was quite different. Satan made specific demands of Christ, with the intent of leading Jesus into disobedience if Jesus complied. As a result, Jesus used Scripture to rebuke Satan and refused to comply with Satan's demands. This is the primary difference between the two cases. In Matthew chapter 8, the demon's request did not cause Jesus to sin, whereas Satan's demands on Jesus were intended to cause him to sin. Demons were well aware of who Jesus was, Son of God, and of their impending doom. This serves as a reminder that the kingdom of darkness and light are quite aware of the judgment. This does not explain why the demons begged to enter the swine. It's possible they didn't want to leave the area where they'd been successful in wreaking havoc on the people. Perhaps they were drawn to the filthy animals because they themselves were filthy. The demons may have made this strange request because it was their last chance to avoid confinement in the abyss, where evil spirits perish. Revelation chapter 9 verses 1 to 6. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and upon them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in